Test, 1, 2.
Hello.
It is 7 o'clock, and I would like to call this meeting to order. Would you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. My name is Don Lips, and I am currently the president of the school board. To my left is Heather Staggs, our vice president, Jackie Deckard, our secretary, Michelle Ball, board member, and Matt Hankins, board member. To my right is Dr. Roberson, our interim superintendent, and the assistant to the superintendent, Mrs. Susie Lips. On behalf of the board and the administration, I would like to welcome you to the March 17th, 2022 school board meeting of the MSD of Martinsville. I thank you for attending and being engaged in our school district. I also will make you aware that we are up to date on the IU basketball game tonight. We do know that it begins here shortly, so we will put a little bit of a rush maybe on this meeting this evening. But this is a meeting in the serious side of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting school business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Opportunities for participation will be permitted in accordance with policy B250. I'd like to remind everyone that 48 hours prior to our meeting, all meeting documents are now posted on our website for you to view in advance of the meeting. To begin with tonight, we have some students here that we would like to recognize. So I would like to at this time introduce the principal at Wooden Middle School, Mr. Fred Cuttriff, who will introduce his students.
Thank you. I'm not too loud, am I? I don't like to raise my voice. I usually don't like to get up and speak, but I wanted to introduce Kenja Fraley, who does what our TV station, they do our announcements on Fridays, they do clips for the kids. She's done just an outstanding job, and I knew she would not say any of this about herself. But Kenja, she was going to go teach at Indian Creek or our corporation, and we got her. So we're so thankful. But when we did this, we have a great TV productions program at South. It kind of fell off a little bit, and then we got Eric Myers doing the things that he's doing at the high school is unbelievable. So when she came in, I said, I just want us to be better than Eric. And she's working at it. We're not there yet, but she's getting awful close. But just give you a couple things she did. Because of me, she was supposed to have some new equipment that was supposed to be ordered, and I messed something up on my order, and she didn't get it, so I didn't know what they were doing. But these kids have been going around on cell phones, and they've been going around with their Chromebooks, and they've been putting together TV production. I didn't know. I said, well, and I kind of looked back. I said, Kenji, you got these cameras down there. Well, these cameras had disappeared over the summer. So they were gone. I didn't know that. She never said a word. She had a solution. And these kids, it's amazing what they've done as far as improving. And you'd be amazed what they're producing right now. We have that equipment ordered. Some of it's here. Some of it's on back order. But she's still knocking it out of the park. And last thing I'll say about her, and I think then we're going to show just a quick clip of what they do. Today, we have a young girl that's been nominated for something for Inspire magazine, and the voting's going to take place over spring break. Well, so they go down with our social worker to see Kinja and her class about what can they do to promote it, because the voting is going to be over spring break. Kids are going to be gone tomorrow. And instead of saying, well, we can't do nothing, it's over, first thing she said to her class is, what can we do? Her kid's name is Finn. What can we do to help Finn? And that's her type of attitude. So she does a great job. So I'm going to, after you play the clip first, and then Kenji come up and introduce yours. You see by the way, she even created the logo for, Eric's got Rewind, we got Fast Forward. So pretty nice, which I didn't get one of those sweatshirts. So Kenja, she's doing a great job, and we're lucky to have her. So thank you very much. Come up when you're ready after our little video here. Thank you.
Christmas time the topic of Ukraine and the Russian war. And after I'm done presenting,
My
we're
desk
going to have
and
a question.
virtually, maybe my hard work spells victory. Maybe doubt, don't worry. Remember all I practiced, oh, oh, and I said, ooh, on the past I learned. Oh, I can do it, I will do my best. Oh, working with grit, top scores are mine. Learning all the time. Fractions lining up on numbers in line. Oh, remember all my practice. Language I spent back from practice. So, oh, I'm gonna pass I learn. The answer is ABC or D. True or false, like scores, now here I go. It's time. I said, I'm gonna pass I learn. Oh, I can do it, I will do my best. I said, life can be amazing.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for recognizing us. And Fred, you have been just so supportive of us and really let us do whatever we've come up with, and I can't thank you enough for that. This group of students is about a fifth of what we have, but I'm so thankful that they showed up tonight as well. We're able to make it. As far as working from a Chromebook, I honestly think it was kind of a blessing. The learning curve here has been this. I've told Fred that, I think things happen for a reason. So us learning on the Chromebooks really was a great thing. As Fred could attest to, and the kids, I'm not very good at keeping things short. So I do have a small speech here, but I will not be really long. But I do want to start. This is our story. This is my first year teaching. So these kids were kind of at a detriment possibly there. This bunch of creative students, a novice teacher, and a Chromebook came together in August of this school year with absolutely nothing except 2 50-minute class periods. Unanimously, we decided that we were not going to operate as a classroom. Instead, we decided to operate as a business. With that, we voted and we came up with a name, a logo, and a business strategy. It was all born in August. Fast Forward became our name. It was collectively agreed upon and became not only our title, but literally our theme. The speed in which this team knew that we had to progress in order to produce anything at all for this year was obviously fast forward. In the very first month, this team fearlessly explored, researched, and faced the steepest learning curve from ground zero through the skies. As you can see with the video, the kids like to experiment. We've got a green screen room, and they wanted to fly to the moon. So we had a group that were astronauts, and we went to the moon. We had kids that were in helicopters, as you saw. We have kids in cars and snowmobiles, and literally they're sitting behind a desk or straddling a table with a green blanket underneath them. So I'm so proud of their creativity this year is just amazing. We vowed to create a meaningful and responsible media platform that would inclusively and positively represent, influence, and inspire our entire student body. This became not only our motto, but it became our mission statement, our ethical stance, and our focus for this team. And of course, we as middle students, we like to entertain, so that was obvious. In a little more than 20 weeks, this crew has produced over 25 segments, reporting on everything from office news to sports, weather, current events, breaking news, commercial plugs, public protests, roundtable discussions, human interest stories, social causes, and yes, even popular parodies. I was absolutely amazed when they were able to make the 80s and 90s fandom of Hans and Franz actually become popular for 2022 middle school students. So good job, guys. With an intense dedication to learning, a strength to fearlessly create, the courage to try new things, and an allegiance to stay committed to deadlines and responsible reporting, this group has created a platform which they should and can be proud of. So I salute, and I'm so glad that you guys are getting honored tonight. You truly are fast-forward entrepreneurs, and I would like to mention the whole team. We had Lily Adams, Dalen Calhoun, Drake Davis, Maddie Dyer, Jazzy Easley, Emma Eversole, Emma Harris, Morgan Harris, William Higgins, Gavin Long, Keely McGowan, Kiera Nardi, Blake Roth, Kinsey Russell, Trip Ryan, Quinn Sparenblank, Audie Taylor, Cadence Tinsley, and Cole Van Zant. So again, your Fast Forward crew.
Thank you. Next up, moving to Martinsville High School, I'd like to introduce Mr. Kip Staggs to introduce his students this evening.
Good evening. It's my pleasure and honor to recognize some outstanding student athletes that have participated in the IHSA state tournament here in recent weeks. To my right, Molly Stout participated in the IHSA state swim meet at the IUPUI Natatorium. She finished 13th in the 100 breaststroke in her first appearance in the finals as a junior. She also was a conference champion earlier in the season, and she currently holds the school record for the breaststroke and has broken that record multiple times. Molly Stout. Another individual who's not here this evening, I'd like to recognize Blake Raines. Blake is a senior swimmer as well. Blake has participated in the state finals 3 different years. He has 4 IHSA sectional titles. He has 4 school records. He has 5 mid-state conference titles. And his specialty is the 100 breaststroke and 100 fly. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Blake's name this evening, who was unable to attend. Also to my right, we have 2 outstanding gymnasts. These 2 gymnasts have participated in the state finals this past Saturday. Under the direction of Coach Larry Sachs, this is the 3rd year in a row Martinsville High School has had a team of gymnasts represented at the state finals at Ball State University. To my right is Lily Boyd. Lily is a junior, and Lily was the first alternate in the vault, and she did an outstanding job advancing out of the sectional and into the regional. Also to my right is sophomore Gabby Grubb. Gabby participated in the state finals this past Saturday, placed 4th in the state in the vault while setting a school record of 9.625, and actually performed better in the state finals than in the regional. But she had a great day. And then behind me is Coach Larry Sachs. And Larry has led the team for multiple years. The team finished 4th this past year in the sectional, just missing the opportunity to move on to the regional. And our team finished 9th last year in the state gymnastics meet. On behalf of Martinsville High School and the board, I'd like to present these student athletes and coach an IHSA pin that says, "You make our school and community proud," and on the pin itself it has integrity, character, and respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Staggs. I would also like, if we have any parents or grandparents of these students, both at Woodin and at Martinsville High School, that are with us this evening, would you please stand and also be recognized? Thank you. And before we proceed with our meeting, we do have an exit plan for those of you that are guests here this evening with our students recognition. So we will give you a few minutes here if you would like to exit. You're more than welcome to stay for our business meeting. But if you prefer, now's the time for you to get up and quietly move out. Okay, next on the agenda is public comments on board agenda items. We have anyone that signed up? Nope, no speakers. Okay, next up is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is sent out to all the board members several days in advance of the meeting so that we have time to look over the consent agenda and ask questions about items that are in the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes payroll claims and the payroll reports, budgetary claims, certified and the non-certified personnel report. So at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to pass the consent agenda as it is presented.
I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor of passing the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
At this time, I'm going to abstain. Someone on the consent agenda owns their own business, and my son works for them, so I am going to abstain.
I'm abstaining as well.
Okay, so we have two board members that have abstained, but the motion carries 3-0. Next on the agenda, student field trips. Dr. R.
And before that, I want to introduce John Elliott. Where is John? You here? There he is. John Arrow, he's our new maintenance operation director. Thank you, John. Okay, we have a varsity baseball tournament in Vincennes, and would ask permission for the team to go to the Vincennes tournament. It's April 1st and 2nd, so they would be staying overnight, one night.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the student field trip for the varsity baseball team to Vincennes.
I make a motion that we approve the varsity field trip.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. Anyone have any discussions or questions? Okay, all in favor of the approved field trip for the varsity baseball team signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda is the curriculum report. Mrs. Susie Lips.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Good evening, everyone. Open enrollment began on Tuesday, February 1st. Open enrollment's the time period that parents in our district and from other districts can enroll their children in Martinsville schools for the next 2022-2023 school year. Our goal for the next school year is to have over 4,000 students in Martinsville schools. While working to grow our programming, improve test scores, and provide a sense of belonging, we will continue to celebrate our student successes as part of our Artesian campaign to boost enrollment. Kindergarten kickoff wrap-up for you all. Nearly 90 kindergarten students and families attended this event and learned all about what we have to offer here in Martinsville schools. 45 students were new, meaning not enrolled in kindergarten or current pre-kindergarten classes here in Martinsville. Families left with yard signs, pens, stickers, coloring books, and much, much more. Thanks to our MSD staff, community partners, and sponsors, Ray Wealth Management, Bennett Realty, State Farm, Mike Spencer, Edward Jones, Jenna Bennett, and the MCTA. We have a short clip, about a minute long, for you to see about the kindergarten kickoff.
Class of 2035 to the MSD of Martinsville.
We are so excited to watch you learn.
I'd like to give a special thank you to Martinsville High School for letting us use the new field house for that event. You probably saw lots of pictures of staff members and principals and parents, students. The two that were behind the organization of that event were Darby Lambert and Courtney Van Devender. I'd like to give them a special round of applause. Attendance here in Martinsville schools, we're still proud that our attendance rates are very high. Good attendance is a sign of upstanding personal habits such as effort, organization, diligence, and responsibility. If a child is missing school, she's missing out on curriculum, friendships, extracurricular activities. Attending school every day reinforces a sense of belonging, and most importantly, good attendance at school is the #1 factor in a student's success at school and throughout his or her future. 8th graders visited Martinsville High School. Last Thursday, our John R. Wooden 8th graders, the class of 2026, visited Martinsville High School. Martinsville High School ambassadors, administrators, counselors, and teachers hosted the event. While providing tours for the students, Martinsville High School representatives answered questions and gave special presentations regarding curriculum and programming. This Tuesday evening, the class of 2026 and their parents participated in an orientation event at Martinsville High School in the auditorium. And Martinsville High School counselors spent the last 2 days at John R. Wooden Middle School scheduling the 8th grade students for their freshman classes for next school year. We have a short clip about our 8th grade visit so you can see what it was all about.
This is all about you.
take toward your career. And we're excited about that for you.
The T-shirts you saw that the 8th graders were wearing were sponsored. We had a sponsor, community sponsor, O'Neill Foundation. I'd like to thank them for donating those shirts, which cost over $3,000 for the entire class of 2026. So thank you very much. Well Wednesdays has been a topic out in our community since last month. Some of you are here this evening because of Well Wednesdays, so hopefully this is information that'll be important for you. And if you have further questions after the meeting, I'll be glad to talk with you, or you're welcome to call me or email at any time. At the February 2022 school board meeting, in case you weren't here, the board voted unanimously to allow the district to begin the state's application process for including professional development within the school schedule for the 2022-2023 school year. As an update, the general application has been submitted by the district requesting that Martinsville schools use a late arrival format to include professional learning community work for teachers on Wednesday mornings. Once the state approves or denies that request, the specifics of our district's proposal can be solidified. We'll be solidifying that proposal when as we hear feedback from you. We've also sent out surveys to get input, and we're customizing that plan based on your concerns, your needs as a community, as parents, and the people that work in our district. To seek parent and staff input, the district issued a survey to all parents and to all staff on Tuesday, March 1st. Of the 3,640 parents surveyed, 189 responded. That's approximately 5% of our parents. Of the 640 staff members that were surveyed, 186 responded. That's approximately 29% of our staff. There's been a great deal of research about survey participation and what that indicates to us as we're looking over survey results. Not being an expert myself about surveys, that's not our area, my area, I'll simply report what input we did receive. Summary of the survey results include, and you can see in your handout, I've got a little bigger version of that because it's so small, and it's small when it's on the screen. You're going to see that most everyone that responded, the 189 and the 186, said yes, they were in favor. They preferred the 2-hour. Staff survey results indicated for positive impacts for students, better and more efficient facilitated instruction, potentially more sleep one day a week, if they're not on the phones, better vertical alignment and common vocabulary will provide continuity to student learning. Sharing high impact strategies will support the end goal of positive student impact. That was from the staff, their ideas about how that was going to help students. Summary of the positive impacts staff survey. For staff thought this would help them more time for training and effective planning to meet student needs. Improved instructional practices equals better learning. Weekly discussions allow for a proactive approach to teaching and learning so teachers can immediately intervene. Providing teachers more time and professional development leads to greater teacher satisfaction and less turnover, which also equates to stability for students. For the parents, wait a minute, I think I skipped a slide. I did. Perceived obstacles, the downside, staff thought childcare, change can be difficult, community and staff understanding the values of PLCs. Some people don't know what a professional learning community is, and scheduling. Those were the perceived results. I talked to a couple of people before the meeting and talking about scheduling with buses and scheduling with breakfasts and the obstacles there. And those are things that we're going to have to include, obviously, and we have been including in the conversation Mr. Bodell from the food service and Mr. Mills from transportation to help iron out any obstacles that might be a wrinkle in our proposal. Parents also in favor, not quite as heavily in favor, but still in favor. That was 189 responses. Still preferred the 2-hour, though not quite as many. It was 60%. Summary of positive impacts from parents. They thought for students could get more sleep, improved instruction from teachers would equal stronger outcomes for the students, and timely response to our children's needs. They thought that would help staff as teachers' preparation time would benefit students and teachers, and earlier identification of struggling students. Perceived obstacles, some of them were the same things: childcare and transportation. So those are some of the components we've been working on this month as we continue to move forward with this and fill out that application. Again, at this time, it has been submitted to the state but not approved, or denied. We haven't gotten anything from the state, so once we do, we'll come back to the board and with our proposal better articulated after input from everyone involved. Skilled Trades and STEM newsletter, STEM vocational program. I don't know if you had the opportunity, but tonight before this meeting from 5 to 6:30, I was over at Martinsville High School at the field house. It was packed. All the bleachers in the field house were packed. The floor, there were students, parents, staff members. Every school had a station, kind of like at the kindergarten fair, but even more people. And we had a little photo booth set up. It was the robotics showcase for all grades. And they all had on matching t-shirts. We took a big group picture. So next month we'll showcase that a little bit. It was a great night and that's why we show these little clips and we give you the newsletters and the handouts, is so that you can have a peek, a little window into what's happening in the schools. What you hear on social media and what you hear from people that maybe don't have children in the schools, they're just projections. What you see, the faces you see and what's happening on these screens and in the pictures and in videos that maybe are emailed to your homes, that's what's happening with the students. That's what's happening with programming and curriculum. So, STEM vocational program, grades K through 12, we have a new newsletter, and Shannon Adams and Sharon Gooden presented last month. They have started this newsletter to keep the district, community, parents, and staff and students informed about what's going on, not just now, but for the future, with STEM, vocational, and skilled trades. Graduation class 2022, that's this year. This is the pinnacle event for Martinsville schools every year. Graduation is scheduled for Friday, May 27th at 7 p.m. at Martinsville High School. So we would like to invite all the parents that have graduates to be there, and I know there's a ticket process. I think, from my understanding, you get 2 tickets on the main floor, and then it's free-for-all seating upstairs. The high school gym is air-conditioned, and I'm sure our new operations director will make sure that's running, functioning on that day. And decorations are planned. All the teachers in the district, all the staff members are invited this year to make like a body run through, a spirit thing. So as the graduates all collect or all gather in the auditorium on graduation night, about 6, they put them in alphabetical order, get them in their lines, and the staff members from grades K through 8 are going to make a body line so that when the graduates leave the auditorium and they walk over to the gymnasium, their old staff members are there that they can see that were part of their journey. Because it's always super crowded, we're going to ask Dennis Mills to help us out, and we're going to have staff members park over at Bell Smith area and then bus them over so that they can get in and out fairly easily. And that'll be on May 27th. Other dates are listed in your packet. Coming up for us, this is a big time. Grades 3 through 8 students will be participating in state-mandated iLearn testing beginning April 18th. All students organized by grade levels will have a rally on April 15th at the new Martinsville High School Fieldhouse to unify and focus on strategies and reminders for the testing week. Our goal as a district is growth. Other important dates are listed on your handout tonight. I said that the rally is at the Fieldhouse. It's really at Martinsville High School. It's at the Fieldhouse. If it rains, it's on Ciderwitz Field, on the football field, if it's beautiful out, and we hope it's beautiful. And the students will be eating lunch there and doing parades around the track, either inside or outside. Summer school applications will be available in April. If you need transportation, if students need transportation for summer school, service can be provided. Students who participate in summer school will receive a free breakfast and a free lunch. Summer school classes will run from 8:30 to 11. The summer classes that we will offer this year are summer credit recovery for grades 9 through 12 to help those people graduate. It'll be at Martinsville High School. Summer session 1, 2, 3, and 4 are for music students. Different dates for all of those sessions for band, orchestra, and there's a fiddle camp. Middle school, beginning students, and high school students. So all of that is listed on the agenda. We do have special reading programming and skills programming in the elementaries, and those elementary principals will be getting that information out to you next month. Student shout-outs go to tonight's District Robotics Showcase participants, John R. Wooden 8th grade choir, who earned an overall gold rating at ISMA and a perfect score from one judge, John R. Wooden 8th grade Mancini String Orchestra, who earned gold with distinction for ISMA Organizational Festival Competition. The MHS dance team finished 3rd at state, and they will be here next month for us to feature. Gymnastics, Gabby Grubb, you saw her tonight. Swimming, Blake Rains and Molly Stout, all of them for their performances at state. At the IHSAA boys sectional here in Martinsville, we had music students who performed the national anthem and did an outstanding job. Shelby Yunt, vocal, Madeline Collinsworth, vocal, Josh Gooden, alto sax. And for the IHSAA boys basketball 1A regional, artesian musicians performed the national anthem. Gray Reynolds on tenor sax, Jack Reese, vocal. Thank you to those students. Also shout outs to the Martinsville High School FACT students who worked at the kindergarten kickoff event, and the Martinsville High School ambassadors who worked at the 9th grade orientation. Upcoming events for Martinsville schools. Tomorrow, we have a family pantry from 11 to 1 at John R. Wooden Middle School. Anyone is invited. March 18th, also tomorrow, Drumline and Color Guard Community Night at 7 p.m. at Martinsville High School Gymnasium. And March 21 through 25, the students and staff will be on spring break. Thank you to Martinsville Classroom Teachers Association for serving as a district resource and donating funding to Martinsville schools. Donated $1,000 to the elementary schools for test preparation, $100 to the kindergarten kickoff, and $280 to the district's robotics showcase. We appreciate and value your partnership. Thank you everyone for attending this evening. If you have any questions about any of these topics, please feel free to connect with me not only tonight, but anytime via phone or email. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Lips. Not sure about anyone else, Dr. R., but when we talk about class of 2026 and the class of 2035, it's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Next up, math textbook adoption update, Ms. Tiffany Grant.
Thank you. Good evening. Members of the school board, thank you for allowing me time this evening to present the findings of our math textbook adoption process. Before I review the results, I would like to thank our teachers who participated in the textbook caravan and in many conversations about what would be best for our students in the classroom. Additionally, I would like to thank our Community Textbook Review Committee. At least one member is here this evening. Thank you. It was a small but mighty group who spent time reviewing materials for engagement and accessibility of information for families to help their students at home. Together, these groups provided multiple valuable perspectives on the best option for our math curriculum for the next 6 years. When we began this process last fall, we communicated the following details about our district to the textbook companies that have products available for purchase in Indiana. We shared with them that we need digital programs and tools that work with both Seesaw and Google Classroom and are easy to navigate for students, teachers, and families. We need curriculum that meets a wide range of learner needs, including Title I students, English language learners, honors classes that start in 5th grade, and students who have gaps in skill mastery resulting from the pandemic. We need assessments that are aligned to iLearn testing. We need strong customer service provided for all 6 years of the adoption cycle, including with digital access. And we need curriculum resources that are responsive to community curriculum initiatives. After all stakeholder information was collected and considered, the teachers have made the following recommendations. For our elementary students, grades K to 4, the teacher's choice is McGraw-Hill Reveal Math. For our intermediate and middle school students, grades 5 to 8, the teacher's first choice is Curriculum Associates, Ready, Indiana. Finally, for our high school students in Algebra 1 and 2 and Geometry, our first choice is Big Ideas. The community group found that both Curriculum Associates, Ready, Indiana, and McGraw-Hill Reveal Math utilized bright colors and engaging activities that seemed accessible and age-appropriate, especially for younger students. Curriculum Associates also included a feature called Family Letter that helped explain to adults at home which skills students were working on and a context for those skills. This textbook company also gave teachers sets of discourse cards that integrated questions and conversation into the math curriculum, which would be helpful for students who learn best by talking out the ideas. The community group also liked McGraw-Hill Reveal Math's resources for teachers that would help them differentiate and provide support to students at a variety of skill levels, all in the same classroom. The online tools also seemed more engaging with this company's offering. McGraw-Hill Reveal Math did, however, create some concerns for the community group. These textbooks asked questions about decision-making and classroom citizenship that were not specifically focused on math skills. These questions were more about how to be a student and how to think about problem solving in a wider context. The group discussed providing guidelines along with the selection, if chosen, for teachers to be sure that these conversations stayed aligned to the academic needs of the students. Big Ideas was also a community group favorite. They found these materials to be well organized and provide extra details on common mistakes that students make. This textbook provided the clearest guidance for family members to help their students master the skills. Specifically for the elementary schools, the teachers also found strengths and concerns in the McGraw-Hill Reveal Math curriculum. The strengths included strong digital programs that aligned with formative assessments that we already use in the district. This textbook option also has resources for a variety of skill levels and engaging activities. McGraw-Hill is our current math textbook provider, so we have had personal experience with their high quality of customer service. Finally, their online platform is compatible with our use of Clever, Seesaw, and Google Classroom, and it has new features including math, replay videos for students and families. This last feature is particularly important for parents of young students. We know that if you don't use it, you lose it, particularly in math. Providing strong family resources in these early years helps students start out being more successful in math because everyone has more confidence. The concerns from teachers were similar to those of the community group. Along with a different layout that is not as simple as the current format, teachers also noticed that the SEL questions were not specific to math. Curriculum Associates, Ready Indiana, for grades 5 to 8, focuses on strong math habits, relevant examples and story problems, and both digital and print problem-solving options. For intermediate and middle school students, those features are key. Students aged 9 to 13 are the perfect age to solidify good habits. They always want to know why they have to do what they're being told to do, and they want to make their own choices. This textbook option provides just that. Ready Indiana also provides intensive intervention resources that are critical for those students who have had gaps in education these last 2 years as they move closer to and prepare for high school math, where credits are required for graduation. The concern teachers had with this textbook curriculum was that it uses its own diagnostic exam instead of pulling the data from NWEA, which we already use in the district. For our high school math classes, Algebra 1 and 2 and Geometry, the recommendation is Big Ideas. The curriculum is well organized and provides a variety of strong examples and exercises. The lessons are clear and visually appealing. And perhaps most important is that the assessments include a variety of tasks which allow students to show their skill mastery in different ways, and error analysis, which provides teachers with helpful information about which skills students are missing when a task requires more than one skill. This feature helps teachers and students by zeroing in on what needs to be retaught for greater skill mastery. Big Ideas also includes digital extensions and videos applying to math concepts. The concern with Big Ideas is that in previous textbook adoptions, their technology components were not always compatible with what the district already uses. This was compounded by poor communication and customer service from the company. However, our technology department is already working with the Big Ideas IT department to get ahead of these issues pending board approval. Now, a little math for us. This is the part I've missed these last few months. Lesson 1, addition and rounding. The total cost of this math textbook adoption will be approximately $667,000. Lesson 2, economics. Textbooks are expensive. We do our best to take price into account, but honestly, all of the textbook options are similarly priced. These textbook costs are divided by the number of students and over time charged in student fees to families. These fees then fund the next math textbook adoption in 2028. And now lesson 3, everyone's favorite, a story problem. The MSD of Martinsville wants to provide the very best math curriculum for its students. In order to do that, the district leadership gathers together 85 teachers, 6 community members, 2 technology experts, and 3 district leaders to review 5 different curriculum options on behalf of nearly 4,000 students and their families. If everyone gets on the same high-speed train traveling 190 miles per hour toward the same common goal, what will be the train's destination? The answer: a community of stronger, more mathematically confident citizens who have graduated from a school district that worked its hardest to provide for every student. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have some questions. Can we have Tiffany come back up, please?
Sorry, yes.
Did the high school math teachers weigh in on what the elementary and the middle school were doing? Because they're doing something different. So were they aware of what was happening with elementary and middle school because it's different companies?
It is different companies. I know that the textbook caravan included all three groups, so they all went together. We did divide up the groups because the needs are different based on grade level. They did meet in separate teams to go over curriculum based on standards. I do think it makes a good point, though, that vertical alignment that we've been talking about is really important. So I think it would be helpful in the future to do more of that. But in this instance, we did not.
Okay, so the high school has no idea how, like, doing different would help them in high school, if it was going to hurt or help by doing different.
The different
Right.
curriculums.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did the textbook caravan together, I know they saw them, so I think if there were red flags, they would have been raised. But I don't think, yeah, and it is standards-based, so we wouldn't adopt a curriculum that wasn't based on the state standards.
And then was there any talk about, like for the elementary, the percentages were pretty close
They
with
were.
what they selected.
Mhm.
Was there any talk about Ready, Indiana giving any discount if we chose them for elementary and middle school?
There wasn't. And I keep looking to Jenny. Jenny worked with me on this program. I just volunteered to do the speaking part.
Okay.
So Jenny is helping me with answers. When we looked at pricing, and we had the same thing, we tried to extend the math textbooks a year.
Mm-hmm.
Going with additional years and grouping bigger groups did not affect the pricing.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then last one, I did read pages from Reveal, and it sounds like there's concerns, and there is, about the SEL and
Yes.
the emotional side of math.
Yes.
I didn't know there was one.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently there is. I mean, you can get anxiety from math, but to go into depth about
Right.
emotional math taking.
Sure.
The percentage there was pretty close. So if both the parents and the teachers had the concern about questions being, and they both stated they had nothing to do with math, why wouldn't we just go with Ready, Indiana to just prevent that from being any further of a problem?
So when I worked with the community group was also split on whether or not that was actually an issue. The SEL questions that are not specifically math-based are in the youngest levels. The questions were about how do you make good decisions? How did you solve the problem? So they aren't specifically listing like math skills in those questions, but the community group agreed that with guidance to the teachers, that problem would be avoided. We would maintain like math focus. It also made sense in the younger grades because they're learning all of the subjects, right? That provided opportunities to do cross-curricular understanding. And with math concepts, that's really valuable. To link math to social studies, to link math to science. And providing some open-ended dialogue would be beneficial. When we looked at Reveal versus Ready, Indiana, the pros outweighed the cons between the two programs. So yes, the votes are close, but the positives outweighed the one concern about questions that we really feel guidance would solve.
And what was that pushed you over the edge? What positive was it?
The positives?
Yeah.
The alignment with state standards, the alignment with testing, and the opportunities for family involvement and those pieces of the curriculum that were provided.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I won't escape too quickly. Are there other questions? I'd be happy to answer. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda are action items, so I'll turn it over at this point to Dr. Roberson.
Okay, first is Mrs. Lips.
After seeking input from teachers, technology department staff, and community members, we are asking the board to adopt the following math textbooks for the specific grade levels listed below. Grades K through 4, McGraw-Hill Reveal Math. Grades 5 through 8, Curriculum Associates, Ready, Indiana. High school math courses, Big Ideas, and the AP courses, Bedford, Freeman, and Worth.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the proposed math textbook adoption as it's been presented this evening.
I'll make a motion to accept the math textbook adoption.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any other questions or any other discussions? All in favor of approving the proposed math textbook adoption signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
Okay, proposed full-time school resource officer position, 2022-2023 school year. All we're asking for tonight, if you want to pursue this, is that the administration then would write job description, which would be put into the safety grant. And that grant's not out yet, but we would put that into the safety grant and come back later to the board for approval of anything we do. This is just, do you want me to spend time on it? That's basically what this is.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the proposed full-time student resource officer position for Dr. Roberson to go ahead and pursue the job description.
I'll make the motion to approve the go-ahead for the full-time SRO. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion or any other questions about this position?
I just have one. Can you give me just a brief overlay of what a resource officer does? Like,
Well, we will still have our police officers that we have now.
right.
Mrs. Lips and I have talked to Chief Richards. He understands and approves of what we're doing. This person would just be over the safety program, and they go into classrooms and actually talk about safety. They're just kind of the person over our safety program, best way I could put it.
So they'd just be a director over safety? They
Yeah,
wouldn't
basically.
be,
Right.
like, are they carrying a firearm? Are they,
Well, we would want them to be a retired police officer, and they would carry a firearm. I've been involved at one time at a school that it was not a retired police officer. It didn't work well. I think we want, and we've got a couple of people that are interested that are retired police officers. So I think the board would want that. At least I would recommend that. And it's, like I said, Chief Richards understands that it's a partnership. We're still going to have our police officers.
so the resource officer would work one-on-one with the police
Yes.
officers on?
Yeah,
And this would be full-time?
sometimes the police, or the police administration pays half of the cost. But we're going for a grant, so the
Right.
grant would pay for it. Now, the
Okay.
question might be what happens when the grant runs out. Well, that's always a question of whether you want to continue a program or not.
Okay, thank you.
And this person also, Dr. Roberson, would serve as the resource officer for the entire district. Is that correct?
That's
For all
correct.
the schools?
That's correct.
To coordinate safety.
Right.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor of the proposed full-time student resource officer position signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So Tiffany Grant is writing grant now, and she will put that into the grant.
Back to you, Dr. R.
Back to you.
Next is the approval of the MOU between the MSD of Martinsville Classroom Teachers Association, the Metropolitan School District of Martinsville, along with the Martinsville Classroom Teachers Association, seek approval of the Memorandum of Understanding for Teacher Retirement Incentive. If approved, the first 15 teachers indicating their retirement intentions will be allotted a one-time stipend of $25,000 payable on the teacher's last pay date for the 21-22 school year.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of the MOU between the MSD of Martinsville and the Classroom Teachers Association for early teacher retirement.
I move to approve the teacher retirement stipend MOU.
I second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Do we have any questions or any comments?
All I want to say is I am still not sure, it still hasn't been answered where the 25,000 came from, and why that was, I mean, if we're to be good stewards, I'd have rather we talked about the amount, the total amount, and had that been
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
back and forth
Yeah.
and more, if you want to say barger,
Yeah.
you know.
It would
go
be
back
from
and
cash
forth.
balance, and schools use different. Mooresville did one at 30,000. I can't remember what Monroe Gregg did when I was superintendent there, but they did one. So we came up with 25,000. It could be 30, it could be 20, whatever, but you want to get people to retire, and then if you hire people at the lower end of the salary schedule over the next 8 to 10 years, you're saving a lot of money. For the education fund, which our education fund is very tight now anyway. So it'd be a good fiscal thing to do.
I'm not against that, the 25,000 was just an awful lot, and for an awful lot of teachers, and the talk of not enough English teachers, not enough teachers in general. I just felt like this was going to put us in a really bad position.
Yeah. The question always is at what amount gets people to want to do it. Yeah. It's
And it's not mandatory.
kind of,
They-
no,
they-
it's not mandatory. No.
Any other questions? Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the MOU between the MSD of Martinsville and Classroom Teachers Association for teacher retirement stipend signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
Next is the Early Wood Education Services Contract. The Special Services Department, under the direction of Mr. Nate Dilley, Director of Special Services, seeks approval of the contract between Early Wood Education Services and the MSD of Martinsville for the 2022-2023 school year. This contract allows qualified personnel to provide teacher of record services for students who are deaf or hard of hearing. Earlywood employs licensed and qualified personnel capable of providing these services. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the Earlywood Educational Service Contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the Earlywood Education Service Contract.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Anybody have any questions or any comments? Okay, all in favor of approving the Earlywood Educational Service Contract as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Next is the immersive after-school reading program for the 2022-2023 school year. Brooklyn STEM Academy and South Elementary School of Communications both seek approval to accept the immersive after-school reading program grant for the 2022-2023 school year from Duke Energy. This grant will cover materials and expenses for the after-school reading program for 60 first, second, and third grade students at Brooklyn STEM and South Elementary in the amount of $13,715. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the immersive after-school reading program grant for the 22-23 school year from Duke.
I'll make a motion to approve the immersive after-school reading program for the 2022-23 school year. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions or any discussion? Okay, all in favor of accepting the immersive after-school reading program grant signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Here we have two donations. One, the quarterback club to MHS football, $500, and from the Academy Volleyball Club to MHS Soccer for $1,250. Request approval.
Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the donations from the Quarterback Club to Martinsville Football and from the Academy Volleyball Club to Martinsville High School Soccer.
I move that we accept the donations.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion or any questions? All in favor of accepting these donations as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda is the public comments and announcements. At the completion of the school board's regular business meeting, a visitor who wishes to speak may do so at the discretion of the president. The visitor will be required to state his or her full name and will be given the opportunity to speak using the same guidelines that is used for agenda items, not to exceed 2 minutes for each person. It shall not be permissible to orally present or discuss complaints against individual employees of the MSD of Martinsville at any Board of School Trustee meeting. Such charges or complaints shall be presented to the Board of School Trustees in writing and shall be signed by the person making the charge or the complaint. Boisterous conduct shall not be permitted at any of the meeting of the Board of School Trustees, nor will any abusive remarks be tolerated. We appreciate everyone's civility in maintaining a business order. A year ago, the school board changed our policy that would allow public comments to speak at the end of the meetings on items that are not necessarily on the agenda. We have embraced this opportunity for the community to take this opportunity to speak and express concerns or make announcements. Keeping within the 2-minute guideline helps us maintain an orderly business meeting. If you want or need to speak to the board longer than 2 minutes, please feel free to connect with us here tonight after the meeting. In an effort to fairly adhere to the 2-minute guidelines for all participants, we will present the 2-minute time on the interactive panels that you see around us. Board members will listen to the speakers during the designated time frame, but will not participate in back and forth comments with those speaking. Board follow-up or question answers will be given at the end of the meeting or via phone or at the beginning of the next school board meeting. At the conclusion of the designated 2 minutes, speakers will be asked to return to their seats. Is there anyone that would like to speak?
Bill Mitchell.
Bill Mitchell. Sorry. Bill Mitchell, bus driver, MSD of Martinsville. I've got a couple of questions. The cost overrun on the field house. I don't want to answer tonight. I want to have next school board meeting. All these answers I want next school board meeting because I don't have 2 minutes. And on the new bus, when are we going to get the new athletic bus? Is it coming in? Does that fall under Title IX for all girls and boys to use that bus at equal time, equal mileage?
That's correct.
Yes. So we get that printing from the transportation department, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
The last time I asked Bill, one of them should be arriving any day.
Well, that's fine. I just want to make sure the boys and girls get equal treatment.
Athletics.
Huh?
It's K through 12.
It's K
Field
through 12. The
trips
buses will be used K through 12.
Yes, but the athletic bus for the high school football and basketball team, the girls get to use the same thing for the soccer teams and the girls' travel teams. Equal opportunity, equal mileage, not one short trip and one long trip for the boys. It's Title IX, guys. You got to follow those rules.
Right, depending on scheduling.
Okay, and then, no, not scheduling. You have to go ahead and do it anyway.
Well, a boys' trip might be to Bloomington, where a girls' trip might be to Seymour, so those aren't going to be equal. the
Yeah, but what about
mileage.
one going to Bloomington, one going to Mooresville? For the
they're not always
girls,
gonna
you got to
be
get your
in that
mileage up or equal. Because who's going to, the
Travel.
transportation has to cover the cost of the run of the bus, right? For the fuel and everything else, so it all goes equal. Title IX goes clear across the board. If I'm not right, correct me now.
Yeah, it would depend on their scheduling.
Okay, now that's it. And then on the 2-hour delay, a lot of parents do not like it. And the survey for Susie had, when I've been in public office and surveys come out, most of you get a third of them back, and the other 2/3 you don't get back. Most of the 2/3 you don't get back, half of them do not want it, and a third does, but they don't want to speak out. And what's the status on the new superintendent? Have we got applications in and filed yet?
I think Dr. Roberson will address that at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
At next school board meeting. Thank you.
Lana Farron.
Good evening. My name is Lana Farron. I just want to make a statement about the disappointment that I feel about with the superintendent. I have 10 grandchildren, and I've been a member of this community my whole life, so yes, I do know a lot of people. And from the inside, and I'm going to say the inside, meaning subs, teachers, and other people have assured me that our next superintendent is going to be Eric Boland. Now, I don't know that for sure. I know it's not written in blood, but that's what I'm hearing. So I wondered what was all the big deal about posting this job and getting these 11 applications, some of them extensive papers that they sent in. What was all that? Why was that job posted? Why go through all that? Just be transparent and say, hey, Eric Boland, he's going to be our next superintendent, and if I'm wrong, then I'll say that. But I know I've only got 58 seconds, so I do have something else to talk. Susie, if you have time afterwards, I would like to discuss what happened here at the building yesterday. I know there was a little thing that took place here, and I'm assuming that law enforcement was called. I'm assuming there's a police report. I haven't been able to get one yet because I don't know if there is one, but I will be checking into it. But, you know, when you bring the word Columbine into a conversation, whether it's just in a history class or whatever, that scares me a little bit because it's concerning the thing that happened at Wooden, and I have 2 grandchildren there. So it's really a worry. So I want to discuss that further with you afterwards. Thank you.
Shelley Campbell.
I'm Shelley Campbell. Thanks for letting me address the board. I, too, kind of want to piggyback off of what Lana said, that I did hear Eric Bowen was selected as our superintendent, which he seems like a great guy. My concern is he will be the CEO of our school. And I know we had 11 resumes with some deep experience, superintendent experience. So are we going to be hiring people to put around to Eric? Is Dr. R going to stay a little bit longer to make sure that he has the, I don't know, the fortitude or the wherewithal what to do? Because if you don't have, I would think, superintendent experience or CEO experience and you're put at the helm, that we would need to have that addressed or looked at. And lastly, I did reach out to a couple of the applicants because they did have extensive resumes. They had 8, 12 pages, and a couple of them had previous superintendent experience. They did not even receive a call. So again, I guess I will follow up or piggyback off what Lana said. If we knew what we were doing, it would have saved a lot of time and energy. And just, I think the community is trying to draw close to the board. I think the board's trying to draw close to the community. If we're just transparent and say, we're going to hire from within and don't even do resumes, I think, we would understand that better than how this has been teed up or how this has unfolded. So again, how do we all get on the same page so that if you're going to hire from within, then just say, we're not going out to seek a superintendent because we have qualified superintendent material inside the school system. I hope that makes sense. Thank you.
Shelley, I do have a question. Considering that resumes and applications are confidential and those things are discussed usually in an executive session, where does the number 11, where do you get your information, number 11, and that some of them are extensive, and that I know that you and Lana both said that, some had lots of papers with them and some didn't. How would you have that knowledge?
Thanks, Jackie. Because 2 of them, I asked them to apply. So Doug, I mean, I know them. Doug Ballinger was one of them. I
But
know.
you threw out a number 11, so that's 2 out of 11, so just
Oh,
just
I
throwing
didn't,
that out
no,
there.
no, I didn't say 11. I said we had several.
You said 11.
Oh, I said 11. Okay, I apologize. I know we had several, but two of them I know because I asked them to apply. And the only reason I asked them because I knew how extensive their resume was. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, next up are superintendent's comments.
Well, first of all, go IU. Has anybody got do we know anything? Do we have yeah. Bummer. Or did you want me to talk about something else?
I just said don't tell me.
Superintendent, where we're at, or you want me to do that?
I can't unhear it.
Also on the superintendent process, the state has a statute that seems kind of strange, but anyway, it's their statute, that the first thing that happens is the board has interviewed and I think picked who they want, but can't name that person. First, that contract has to be put in the paper and on the website for a certain number of days without the name of the person, believe it or not. Makes no sense to me, but that's the statute. So that's the next step, is that the contract will be advertised. And it's about a 17-day period that goes on to where we finally, in a public meeting, name the person. So that makes sense. Grace? Okay.
Okay, board member comments?
I guess since the word of the day is piggyback, I'm going to piggyback off of what Susie announced, because I think it really is a big deal, and that is the dance team coming in third. That's just an incredible accomplishment. You get invited, by how they explained it to me, to regionals. It's by invite, so I'm just so excited for those girls, and you get to see them at halftime of basketball games. So they do a great job. They work hard. They're kind of behind the scenes a little bit, so I'm so happy for them to come in third. I thought it was in the packet, but I know we got represented really well at the Spelling Bee competition down at IU, so congratulations to all of them. The favorite time of the year is coming. Next week is spring break. I wish all of you a very happy and safe spring break, safe travels. And if anyone having a staycation, tomorrow night, March 18th, at the Martinsville High School main gym, 7 p.m., is Martinsville Community Night. This is a great show. It showcases indoor percussion, JV Winter Guard, and varsity Winter Guard. It's a phenomenal performance. This is their practice before they go and compete. It's high energy, and I will tell you, it is a great show to watch. So go and see that if you can and don't have plans to get out right away. And also, I know that we all are here and we have conflicts. We may not all see the same. But at the end of the night, I think we're all just truly blessed to be in the United States of America, if anyone knows the news. So we are just so blessed. And so I wish everyone just safety and happiness. Thank you.
Anyone else? And I would just like to address the superintendent search here just briefly. I think we would be, as a board, remiss if we didn't open it up for outside applications. Our job is to receive the applications and to go over those applications and study those applications and choose who we think would be the best candidate to fill this position. This obviously is a very important role in our district and a very important decision for us. And we have taken it seriously, and we have studied the applications. And as Dr. Roberson said, we have to follow protocol according to state guidelines, and we intend to do so. So again, thank you. All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same